classic rock bass solos and classic rock bass lines. Are you ready to go front and center with your bass lines? Well, after you learn these classic rock songs, you'll be ready to go front and center and own the moment without a doubt. Alright, so all of the links to these songs will be down below, so you can check those out right there. And there might be a couple live versions or something, live versions that I like you to see. They will be down below in the description. I tried to find some songs that weren't so mainstream and weren't plastered all over YouTube. The same old bass solos, the same old bass lines, and you probably already know them. If you don't know them, let me know. I'll be glad to break those down. There are some of these that are just as popular as those, but there's just some guys you just gotta hear, and their bass solos, these are the most popular ones of them, so you definitely want to check those out. So these might be repetitive as to other YouTube videos with bass solos and stuff like that. So some of these aren't as repetitive, so hopefully you can get something new to you that you haven't heard in a while, or just add some different style to your bass playing. So the first solo I just played was Broken Hearts from Living Colour. That's Muzz Skilling's on bass. So check out this link. I broke that bass line, that bass solo down in that link so you can learn. And the second one I played was Pigs from Pink Floyd off their Animals album. Hang around, I'll break that one down at the end of this video. And it's Roger Waters' real melodic bass line, and kind of he does what I talked about in other videos, the dynamics. So I'll get into that later on in this video, and I'll break that down. So stick around if you want to hear that. And the third one I played was Stranglehold by Ted Nugent. You can check that one out. I broke that one down a few weeks ago, and I did it in a lower octave because he's using, I'm pretty sure it's an octave pedal. And I broke it down in the lower register in that particular video, but you can take it up, just transpose it up an octave and you can get the same. That's what I do. Usually when we play out, I'll play it up high just because it's a solo and it just gives it more of a solo feel. But I love playing it down low because it's just fun that way. I love the low end and I enjoy that. So that's why I broke that one down on the low end. So now I'm just going to lay them out there for you. If you got any of these you want broken down or anything, leave me a comment down below. I'll be glad to break down for you. I'll sit down and learn it. I've learned them in the past, but it's been a while, and as the older I get, the harder it is to retain all this. So we've got Broken Hearts by Living Colour, we've got Pigs by Pink Floyd, and we've got Stranglehold by Ted Nugent. Number 4 is going to be the Atlanta rhythm section. Blues was real prevalent in classic rock back in the day. So back in the day in the 70s and 60s, the blues were really strong, and really blues rock was big. So these definitely all have a blues influence to them as well. And if you haven't seen my blues videos, I'll leave a link here. You can check out those. I've got several. I got playlists of blues, all kinds of blues bass lines that you can learn also. Now, like I said, this is Another Man's Woman, and the timestamp is at 6:14. So if you don't want to, listen to the whole song, it's a great song. It's fun to listen to. The bass line itself is great, so definitely listen to that. Listen to the song, but at 6:14 is where the bass solo comes in, so you can really get a listen for that. If you want to just, you don't have a whole lot of time, just jump to 6:14 and you can watch the video. You can listen to the bass solo immediately. Number 5 is going to be this guy's got almost bass solo in every song. He's not every song, but off the first album, there were lots of bass solos. He took bass solos a lot of times, and they're great bass solos. And he's had a huge influence on a lot of big bass players. And like I say, I don't want to have, you know, don't be hating because I don't have certain people on this. There's just so many to cover out there. And like I said, I didn't want to cover all the ones that kind of are plastered to YouTube. He had a huge influence on your favorite bass players. You know, go back to what they had influences as well. And this guy had a huge influence on Cliff Burton, and it's Lemmy Kilmister, and it's off Motorhead. It's Stay Clean is a song, great song, cool bass line, bass solo too, and Lemmy just kills it with a pick. He shreds it, and you know, a lot of stuff he does is just phenomenal. Like I said, if you check out that album, I think it's off the Motorhead self-titled album Motorhead, which he's got a lot of bass solos in there. Check this one out, Stay Clean. It's at 1:15, so it comes in pretty early, and you can check that out. So it's kind of a short song, so you can listen to the whole song, but you gotta listen to some Motorhead. He influenced a lot of people, and if you're a Metallica fan, older Metallica with Cliff Burton, then you will hear the resemblance. So you can tell he was a huge Motorhead fan, and a lot of people were, and they still are. Motorhead's just a solid band, a lot of good stuff. We play some of their stuff live. So number 6 is going to be this guy. This isn't a particular bass solo. I mean, he gets in the middle of the song where it's just him and drums and vocals, but you know, this whole bass line is like a bass solo. It really is, and it's hard to follow. It's tough. I'm pretty sure he's improvising a lot on this, and it's John Paul Jones, Led Zeppelin's Lemon song. So that whole song is almost a bass solo. Definitely blues. Led Zeppelin was a big fan of the blues, which they were influenced by a lot of the older style blues, Lead Belly. But that's Lemon song. Now this one again isn't really a bass solo. It's a bass intro, but it's somebody you got to check out. It's not their more mainstream. You listen to some of his bass lines. They're phenomenal. It's Bob Daisley of Ozzy Osbourne off Diary of a Madman. And you listen to that whole album, Blizzard of Oz, and he's just working. He's just all over the place, and it's great. It's good stuff to learn, and definitely emulate his playing as well. But this song's not as, it's a great song. I love it. It's Tonight, and it starts off with the bass line in the very beginning, kind of a bass solo, and it just goes with that. Number 7, I think we're at 7, right? Next one's Fireball. Check these guys out. Deep Purple, Roger Glover, great bass player. His lines are just great. And I mean, Deep Purple had some intricate stuff, some rhythm spots that are just cool. And this bass solo, and this one's actually a live version. Just a cool bass solo. He just owns it. That's what I mean. You just take it and you own it. Whether it's the biggest, best, most melodic bass line out there or what, make it yours, and you'll be amazed at what you can produce. So that's Fireball by Deep Purple. Roger Glover, follow his stuff. He's just a cool cat, without a doubt. Now, number 9, or next one, I don't even know where we're at. This bass player, like I say, this is one that's been plastered all over YouTube. And you're looking up bass solos, you're going to see this one for sure. And it's Black Sabbath, but it's there for a reason, and it's Black Sabbath's NIB. That bass solo, you know, off their first album, Geezer Butler comes right out the gates with a bass solo, right out the gates. So, you know, he's a phenomenal bassist, somebody you need to follow as well. And I've done some War Pigs video down there that I can leave a link here. Broke that song down. That bass line's all over the place, but I just gave you some ideas because to mimic them note for note is what you want to learn. You definitely want to do that, but then you want to know what they're doing and how it works. So check it out. How to Play Bass online course at iwanttoPlayBass.com. Jump over there, subscribe, become a member for free, and pick up your free ebook on setting your bass up for success. It's all there so you can improvise your own lines. You don't have to play theirs note for note, which is the way if you're playing cover songs, you want to play them note for note, and it's sometimes hard to find those songs and get them note for note, because definitely on these earlier recordings, that bass sometimes his is stands out pretty well, but some of them, they're down in the mix that it's difficult to break them down properly. That's NIB, Black Sabbath, Geezer Butler, off the first album that they did, you know, and it's probably one of their best albums. You know, don't hate on me. They got all of their albums are great, but to me, that's one of my favorites is Black Sabbath, Black Sabbath. All right, last but not least, this is another, this is plastered all over the place, but it's for the right reason. It's Free Will by Rush. That bass line is just phenomenal. I've loved that bass line forever, and it's just something, you know, it's just, it deserves to be on this list for sure, because it's just, Geddy Lee deserves to be on this list because he's one of those top players that, you know, you definitely want to follow a lot of his stuff, if not everything he's done. There's a lot of stuff out there by Rush, but he definitely deserves that recognition without a doubt, and he definitely gets all the recognition he needs. But you know, I hate to leave him out on this list or leave them out, but that bass solo on Free Will is just great. So check that out and leave me a comment if you want me to break it down. I'll be glad to. I learned it years ago. I'd have to sit down and figure it out again. But that's Free Will. Check it out. And now we're going to break down Pigs by Pink Floyd. Now, like I said, Roger Waters, you know, not a Stanley Clarke or Geezer Butler player, but a great, just melodic lines and everything were just part of the music. You know, he heard it as a whole, and what he played was so melodic on stuff that you know, there weren't 1,000 notes. It's just playing one note, and just how he arranged that, like B.B. King, can play one note, can move people more than 50 notes, and that measure could move them. And that's what Roger Waters does. These bass lines are just that good. But you got to see the style. It's not a lot. I mean, it's just phrasing is part of it, and just like I talked about, the dynamics is crucial here because he elongates notes and then he staccatos notes. So he shortens them, mutes them, and that's what gives it that, you know, it's not just playing the notes, you know, it's how you play that particular note and how it rings out and how, you know, just it's in your fingertips, the tone, what kind of tone, how you can nail that and dial it in. It's all there. It's all got to be there in order to give it that much more feeling. You can play the notes all day long and you're just going to feel like it's just missing something. All it's missing is the texture, the dynamics, okay? That's all it is. So listen to him. Now here he is. He's just on B to A. He just does that. And then he goes A, G. He does a little pull off, hammer on and pull off. And that's just F sharp. It's G, F sharp, G, E, D, E. It actually goes, because you can't hear him really pluck that E. So what he does, he just, the F sharp to G, and then he slides into the E, and he goes to the D, and then he slides again. He doesn't pluck the D, he just slides into it melodically, just gives it that much more feel. And then he slides up to the B again. He goes to that C, and it really has a moving effect to it. So you got the B, and then he does a pull off D, and then to the C, and that right there is just moving. And then he does again, walks down from the B, A, G, A, pull off to G, F sharp to G, pull off, hammer on, pull off, slides into the E. Okay. Now here's what's interesting is this phrase he uses here. It goes from the F sharp, D, but he cuts that note off. He doesn't ring it out. And it just gives this G to B, C that much more power, moving power. So, okay, it just gives it that much more feel to. So if you just went, it would still be all right, but it's just that much better. And then he goes, slides into the E, and then we go to the G, A, F sharp, D, E, and then we do a little triplet here, E to B to E, and then he does the F sharp to G, slides into the A. Okay? So that's all it is. Just use, you know, like I say, just how he plays those notes makes a huge difference. Makes more of a difference than just playing the notes, than the notes themselves, okay? So it's how you deliver those notes is how it is going to make this really catchy, and people will be like, wow. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, mash that like button for me. Help me help you, and check out these videos, playlists of classic rock bass lines that you want to see. So I'll see you there.